I'm gonna move away because the mic is not
that will
on the right
be
side. Boom.
starting us off. I do want to do a little disclosure. So
Bill.
as many of our previous meetings, is recording. So you know that whatever we're talking about will end up either on or both YouTube and our Facebook page for record history of our recordings and what we're discussing today. So just also be mindful, the whispers and things, sometimes it catches and then we can't really understand what is being said in the meeting, so one at a time talk. Definitely interactive. We're going to want your comments and questions and feedback. So here, let me make sure this is working. All right, here's our agenda. So we have actually a little update. We were supposed to have Deborah Tendrich, who is our newly elected House representative. Unfortunately, with the weather up north and the cold, there are some meetings that got displaced over to now. So she's in Tallahassee instead of being local as had been planned. So I'm conveying that she's very sorry that all that happened out of her control. She will be in one of our later meetings this year. So there's that. All right, so let's get started off with the Sheriff's Office. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, of course.
I'll let you guys come up and introduce yourselves. Sure, no problem.
Hi everyone, my name is Deputy Kayla Chanel. I'm the Crime Prevention Liaison for District 1. You guys fall under District 1. Lake Osborne's kind of special. You guys also fall under District 14, which is Lake Worth Beach jurisdiction. So you guys are kind of cut in half. Myself and Deputy Carrero are with District 1. So I'll allow him to introduce himself too.
So I'm Joe. Keep it simple. Picture my name in what Mary already did. I was just talking to Kayla about a story. So I've been with PBS over 20 years now. Started off in District 1, went over to violent crimes, was there 9 years, worked a bunch of different investigations. I don't want to bore you with that. But the story that I was telling Kayla was back in 2009. Early on, we got a call in Lake Osborne of a suspicious person. Pulled into a neighbor's driveway. Neighbor said he walked around the back. I respond, I'm thinking, oh, it's probably just somebody there to cut the grass. Well, I just happened to stumble upon a burglary in progress. So the guy was probably in the back door. So needless to say, he was taken into custody and arrested. Well, this guy was a career criminal. He had been arrested numerous times. He decided, you know what, I've had it. I'm done living this life. I'm going to confess to all the burglaries that I've done in the neighborhood. He confessed to 30 of them.
30?
30, yeah. So he got sentenced pretty much for the rest of his life. He was 50-something. The reason why I'm telling you the story, and it's important, if you guys see something, say something. Don't just assume that it could be what I thought it might have been, just somebody go there to cut the grass, or just a neighbor parking in the wrong driveway. So it's important. Give us a call. We'll come out there. We'll address the situation. If it is the gardener, then hey, it's the gardener. Hopefully I didn't put my gun on him. But long story short, just give us a call. Let us do what we get paid to do. That being said, so about a month ago, we got you reached out to us.
Yes, and there's been lots of movement, as you hopefully have seen.
So Mary called the sheriff's office. She had some concerns, and I'm pretty sure you all have, with speeders primarily, and I guess the dump trucks coming through. Obviously, it's properly posted, speed limit signs, no parking along the park side of Lake Osborne, and the trucks coming through. So what I did was, obviously you guys see the big, beautiful sign that we have here, obstructing our neighbor's view of the lake, but it'll come down soon. And then the speed measuring sign that tells people their speed. I've been monitoring it. I go there a couple times a day. Some of you guys have seen me out there actually with other deputies enforcing some of the traffic laws, and we get some speeders. I'm not going to tell you that everybody's speeding, but I'm also looking for other things too: seatbelt violations, tip violations, anything to stop people and tell them, just to let them know that hey, we're here. Slow down. Think twice before you fly through here. So we've been addressing that. The dump truck situation, we believe we pinpointed it to a certain location, and we sent out commercial motor vehicle people, the subject matter experts. They went there, spoke to the business owner, and he reassured PVSO that his drivers are no longer gonna take the shortcut through Lake Osborne. Now granted, one of them did drive that day that we met with him, but he was driving back to the office, and I don't think anybody's seen any dump truck since then, correct?
I haven't noticed, have you?
Yeah.
No?
We were out there, while we were there, a couple of residents said, is it Crest, the one behind it?
Yeah.
I guess people are cutting through there as well. I did sit there a couple of days, early in the morning. It might have been one or two, but the traffic wasn't significant enough to actually spend too much time there. I'd want to stay on the main road there. We also have District 14, like Kayla said. They're handling their part, so they're up on High Ridge and a little further north along Lake Osborne. So they're doing their part as well. Okay?
For the crime stats, I pulled the crime stats for the neighborhood from October 1st, and you guys look pretty good. There wasn't anything really significant. First, we had a drunk driving arrest. I always like to see those pop up because that is one of my biggest pet peeves are drunk drivers. And they did make a drunk driving arrest that was around the area of 6th Ave and Wright Drive on the 25th of this month. On the 22nd of this month, we had a stolen vehicle. It was the 1800 block of Major Drive. I tried to pull up the report. It's not in our system yet since it was only a few days ago. I pulled up something called the log entry, which is details, minor details regarding the report, and it looks like it was a stolen trailer. Other than that, I don't have any other details. I don't know if it was like a lawn trailer or like a boat trailer. I'm not sure. But once I get more information, I'll pass that along to you. That way you can be on the lookout for that. I do not believe an arrest was made yet on that case. And then on the 23rd of this month, we had a battery call, and that was the 1800 block of Lake Osborne Drive. I'm not allowed to go into detail about what occurred. It was not armed, which is a good thing. It was just an altercation between two subjects. They do have suspect information on that. Again, since obviously this is recorded, it's going to be out to the public. I cannot disclose any further information than that. I can provide you with the case number after. That way, for public record, if you want to pull it up at a later date and time, if it becomes available, you have that option. But that was it for property crimes, which is great. You guys had no package thefts. Package thefts are a huge thing right now throughout the county. You guys are good to go so far. With that being said,
What is that?
package theft, so let's say you have Amazon delivery.
Oh, yeah.
Drop off
Okay.
it, yeah, the porch pirates, they like to call them. That's the phrase that the media puts out there. So with porch pirates, if you're expecting a high prize value item to be delivered to your house, please have a trusted neighbor hold on to it, or even have it sent to a lockbox. I know Amazon, for instance, I know it's a pain in the butt because you have to go away from your house and go somewhere to pick it up. But if I ever order any type of electronic or something that's of high value, I always send it to one of those lock boxes just so I can ensure, that I'm going to get my package and no one's going to steal it. Again, it's a pain in the butt to go out of the way, but it is worth it. So, yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask you a question. Are you all responsible for where High Ridge Road T-bones into Lake Osborne Drive? Because so many people go right through that stop sign when I'm heading north on Lake Osborne Drive.
I could look that up. I'm not sure if that's going to be our district or it's 14. I can pass along that information to them for more traffic enforcement if they have the time to get through there, and I'll pass that concern along to them.
Thank
So
you.
it's the stop sign. Let me just make
The
a
stop
note.
sign where High Ridge Road T-bones into Lake Osborne Drive. It happens to me like numerous times a month.
That's right, like the corner of left is Lake Osborne Estates and right is
Correct.
residence in Lake Osborne.
Correct. Yeah.
Like
So
where?
it's at that crossing.
Liquid Beach.
It's
Is
a T-bone.
it
It's
like
right where High Ridge Road
Yeah,
ends.
so they have High Ridge Road, Liquid Beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do, they just slide through it.
It's the
It's a
T-bone,
three-way.
and High Ridge Road ends
Right.
there.
Right.
And I know this is a different department, but that three-way stop sign at 12th Avenue has been such a blessing to the whole area. If there could be another one at High Ridge Road, it would solve a lot of those problems.
That's good.
Because people just, I mean, it's helpful. I know that there's all kinds of red tape.
Yeah, I mean, there are departments you can reach out to, and they'll do a study, and, you know, they'll dot their i's and cross their t's, and
But in the meantime, we can still do our part in the sheriff's office and do that traffic enforcement for you guys.
it's, if I may, it's hard because I drive a big billboard. It says sheriff's office on the side. So, and Lake Osborne is not a good place to do traffic, I can tell you. Because they can see me from 3 miles away from the other side of the lake.
Yeah.
So they know when to slow down. We've been pretty spread thin when it comes to vehicles. Hopefully the sheriff's office will be getting reimbursed for some of the money we've been spending on other things so we can get more vehicles, especially unmarked. But we're doing our best to try to get them over here.
What, how far south do you go before, you know,
It turns into District 14.
yeah, I mean,
Lantana
which one?
Road. Lantana Road is our dividing.
Oh, well then he has all of us.
Yeah.
Everything north of Lantana Road is District 1, and then
Which
south
is
of
you.
Lantana.
Which is us, yeah. We
Yes,
both work
both
for
of us.
District 1. Now High Ridge to 12th Ave South, that's all District 14 or Lakewood Beach.
I got you.
Yeah, so your whole area is divided into 2 sections.
So, I wonder whether it was the day I took the video
Yes.
of the dump truck taking a right onto 12th.
Yeah.
That was my video. But anyway, I know where they go. They go right over there to 12th and the railroad tracks, Wingate or whatever. I know.
And our guy went there.
What's that?
And our commercial motor vehicle unit went there and spoke. to
Yeah,
them.
I know where they come from. What was your thought when you placed the one that gives your speed limit, you know? Because
So-
it was right after three humps, which of course people were going slower.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, because I've driven that, there is no place where you can significantly gain some serious speed without having to slow it down again for another speed bump. So we do have, a unit that what they'll do is they'll come out, they know what to look for, they take measurements, even with the big board, they had to take measurements, they had to make sure that they couldn't, where they put it, there wasn't too much shade, because I didn't know they were powered by solar.
Yeah, they're solar powered.
Solar panels, that's why, because of last week, it wasn't much sun, so some of the batteries were drained pretty low. So, but they know where to put them, I tell them, hey, this is where I need it, and then they'll go out, they'll do their research and figure out the best location for it.
But since you patrol there all the time, I'll just tell you that they come, let's say they're going towards Lantana Road, so they come over all them speed bumps, they go past that McMillan Island there, and they go around that long, and that's where they start picking up speed. So that by the time they get to Michigan, they're ready to go.
And that's where our partners in Lakewood Beach, District 14, has been assisting us, and they have a designated traffic car that they've been putting there,
Oh, cool. On Lake Osborne Drive,
on Lake Osborne Drive, on their side.
yeah. Because I see people in front of my
So that
house.
would be
that just-
north of us, District 14.
Yes, north of there.
I think what he's describing is really further south, if you're following, heading south on Lake Osborne Drive,
Well, I
to
mean-
where the.
Well, all Lake Osborne Drive's in one.
You're like, the gentleman in the back there, he's seen me there numerous times by Michigan, like you talked about,
Right.
and that's where I got most of my speeders, right there, because I
Yeah.
think that's the best spot.
It is, that's like
Tell
4
them
houses
quarter,
from my house.
By the time they see me, it's too late, I'm already flagging them over, so.
Also, a little side note with the speed trailer, that is great for a few days, but those typical speeders, that, the same car, exactly, after a few days, they know it's there, and guess what? They're gonna slow down because they see it, and they're like, oh, I'm not speeding. As soon as we take that sign away, guess what? It's gonna start back up again. But yes, sir, you had a question?
Yes. I live midway between Lantana Road and the little canal bridge, which that is a straightaway. There is a speed bump there, but we hear the bottoms of cars hit all the time. On Saturdays and Sundays, I'm typically home. There isn't a single weekend that has gone by when I haven't seen a car passing another car on the double line. And it doesn't matter which direction, east, north and south, or wherever way they're coming from. It doesn't, they pass. There isn't one single weekend that I haven't seen at least one and sometimes 3 or 4 passing right there. And the sign, when the sign we put in that says, what did it say on it?
No through trucks and so on.
Yeah, no commercial trucks and so on. That hasn't slowed them down a bit. They don't care. And motorcycles are worse than anything. They hit the bump and they're flying all the way down through. So I don't know what can be done about that, but that straightaway right there is just enough straightaway that everybody thinks they can pass somebody else
Now,
all the
the
time.
times that you see in these passing, I mean,
Normally it's in the afternoon, I would
Yeah.
say,
Like
somewhere
rush hour?
around 3:30, 4 o'clock.
That's
It
like
seems to be about in that time frame.
so they're coming off of Lantana Road and heading.
Yeah, they're either headed, towards, it doesn't matter which direction, but one way or the other. They do it in both directions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say that the sign helps good
Yeah.
people.
But still.
Yeah, just aren't thinking.
You're a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, but, jerks are gonna be jerks, they don't care about signs.
And we'll do our best to try to get there, but, I mean, to be honest with you, the district that we work for, it's really busy. So we
Yeah.
have, on a good day, 18 deputies, on another good day, a minimum of 14. And we go as far north, west of Southern and 441. And then I gotta drive all the way down here to Campbell call for service, so sometimes it might take me a good hour to get there, so.
Yeah.
Just to give you guys a perspective of how large District 1 is, just for your information. So it's from Belvedere all the way to Lantana, and then from like 95-ish all the way to 441.
Oh
So
my.
very large districts.
Whoa.
And yeah, like he said, our deputies are very stretched thin. But with that being said, they do try to be as proactive as possible because we do have some high speeders in District 1. District 1 is the district that the rookie deputies come to and the high speeders come to because it's very fast paced. We have a lot to take care of in this district. You guys are a prime example of that with the speeding. And we do have deputies out there that love to do that on their downtime. It's just a matter of them handling it in between calls for service. But with that being said, we are still going to do our part and pass your concerns along to our deputies, our road patrol. That way they can get in here as frequently as possible for you guys. Yes, sir.
I just wanna say I appreciate what you're doing.
Of course.
It's nice to see after years that something's, you're paying attention to the area and what our concerns are. So I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, we'll get out there, I mean, as much as we can. I mean, I work in a
Yeah.
different unit, community policing, where I have a little bit more freedom. I'm not a slave to the radio, where I'm constantly being dispatched to calls. I can kind of put myself on something and work a project.
Thank you.
And that's what I've been doing, like Osborne and other things, but yeah. So.
Sir, you have a question?
Yeah, not really a question, I just kind of concur to thank you very much for putting boots on the ground in our area over here. And to kind of fast forward a little bit, even the comments on your reports over there, I think it was in January that Madam President and I called on fireworks that were along Lake Osborne
Okay.
and Lake Bass over there. Now, I could kind of understand New Year's Eve. I cannot understand Christmas Eve, Silent Night, Holy Night, and all that. And I believe it was January 7th, I couldn't at all.
Okay.
So I called and thank you very much. They dispatched an officer to my house and I was able to give a face-to-face report. And I believe Madam President was on the phone at the same time giving the house address on that.
Perfect.
And as far as she was reading the statutes over here, unless it's New Year's Eve or 4th of July,
And New Year's Day, 3 days.
and New Year's Day, airborne fireworks are not permissible. Is that a correct statement?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you very much for that. One other thing that I just noticed over there in John Prince Park this weekend is going to be Garlic Fest. Whenever we see anything over there, there's an increased capacity for traffic along Lake Osborne Drive. So if you could make note of that with your powers to be on that, we're going to be catching
Is
more.
it this weekend?
Is it this weekend?
I believe it's going to be February 2nd.
I thought
Okay.
maybe last week.
Yeah, so typically we work it, and and I haven't seen anything about it.
Right, I was just paying the doctor's bill over there, and I saw them setting up the tents today, which would be Monday, so I would assume it would be this upcoming weekend.
I thought they moved it away.
Right, yeah, and I just looked it up on the internet, because I was wondering what was setting up for in Southern Palm Beach County events. So if we could have some road officers, if that's available, and I understand well that you're under asset, allocations under your higher ups, but Donald Trump, from what I understand, gets $250,000 a day for Mar-a-Lago over there. We're not asking anywhere near $250,000 a day, but if you could give us anything that you can, we'd surely appreciate it.
Of course.
And as far as one of the things I've noticed here in the estates, and I'm sure you're seeing it countywide, is e-bikes. They want all the privileges of the road and none of the responsibilities, and we're seeing them along the walking path. So I don't know how you're gonna address that picture, but that's something that you need to be brought up to somebody for a long-term solution, and I don't know what that's gonna be. And as far as when you're doing your traffic stops over there, how do you judge for like unbelted people in the back of a pickup truck? From what I understand, a person is supposed to be belted up, sitting in the truck. Now, you're seeing these lawn maintenance people every morning and every evening in the back of the pickup truck, as well as cell phones.
And they're also cutting
So
down
what,
their trips.
yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you, so we almost have to kind of pick our battles. If I'm gonna stop every single lawn maintenance vehicle that they have people that are unseat belted, that's gonna be my job for the next, until I retire. That's strictly, so we almost, so my primary goal right now is to get people to slow down. All right, and if that's by hitting them where it hurts and in their wallet, I'm gonna do that. Some deputies don't like to issue tickets. I don't like to issue warnings. So the only way people learn is when it hurts, and that's their wallet.
But with that being said, if let's say he does pull over a vehicle that's speeding and they do happen to have somebody that's not seatbelted correctly,
Yeah.
or driving without a license, that's an extreme offense in our case, and typically that results in somebody going to jail.
Yeah,
So-
and like I said earlier, when I started talking, I'm not just looking for speeders.
Right.
I did say seatbelts, and I did say other things, tints and stuff like that. I'm always looking for other reasons to stop people, but the main reason why I'm there is the speed. And I believe that is a concern.
Just one more thing, again, I just want to thank you for your services over there. And then there was an incident, I want to say between 4:30 and 5 o'clock along Lake Osborne Drive in Ontario, where there was a dispatch between, I want to say 4 to 5 sheriff's officers, and there was a person that was hands in the air walking backwards. Can you enlighten us on that?
Is that today?
Today.
I would have to go back out to my car
Okay,
and check the calls for service for today.
right.
But yeah, I don't have
It's usually if
anything.
they're walking backwards with their hands up, it's not having a couple.
Yeah,
walking
typically, I
directions
mean,
going up.
every situation is different. It depends on the traffic stop. Let's say the vehicle came back stolen. Typically, you will see more than one, probably about 3 or 4 sheriff's cars, and then having that person come out with their hands out behind the
Were they marked vehicles or unmarked?
Definitely marked vehicles lit up
Yeah.
And around what time was that?
between 4:30 and 5 o'clock today.
Can I get back to you on that? I can pull that up, and then I'll reach out to, and yeah, and
Sure,
she can
and
share that.
I want to thank you again, thank you
Of
very
course.
much.
That definitely sounds like a high liability traffic stop. And
Yeah.
that's typically what we do if we believe the person in that vehicle or people in that vehicle might be armed. That's how we conduct these traffic stops. We take our time, we
So
slow
the
down.
person was by the lake sitting on a bench is what, I guess I didn't clarify that.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
the person
so they
was
weren't in a vehicle?
They were not in a vehicle at the
Okay.
time, they were on the park bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna write it down, and then I'll
Thank you.
get to it and send her an email about it.
So in reference to, I know somebody said about parking along the lake. So all those parking spots, from what I understand, it's
Get my
all
jacket.
monitored by the park rangers. So it is properly posted, sunset to sunrise. And not only that, they have to be facing the same way with the traffic flow. So if you guys happen to drive by and you see somebody parking there and they're violating some type of statute or a county ordinance, by all means, call.
even the most minor call could lead to a huge break in a case. Up in my neck of the woods, I live up in Port St. Lucie. I'll share one more story with you. I don't know if you guys heard about the murderer up in Port St. Lucie that was recently arrested. He just randomly picked a house and killed a older lady. So very sad story, but long story short, the suspect was at large. They had no idea who the suspect was. It was a random act, which is very rare these days for somebody to just break into someone's home and randomly murder them. So anyways, a couple weeks later, I want to say, in the same area, about a mile radius, the same subject, well, the suspect in that case, went to another potential victim. But thank God, this lady did the right thing. Before she answered the door, she lived alone. Before she answered the door, she answered her Ring app. She looked at the camera, didn't tell him that she was home. She noticed he was standing like this. He had a knife tucked up under here, like this. She zoomed in and she saw it. She called us. He was arrested for that murder. He was the suspect and he was there to kill her randomly. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. But something minor like that, even if the guy flees on foot and just anything to help us, it's, you guys, I try to preach it as much as possible. Please reach out to us in those situations. Like he said, that's what we get paid to do. If it happens to be somebody just soliciting, okay, so be it. But at least leave that up to us to determine, you know.
Look, we're not only are we deputies, but we're citizens just like you guys. We live in these communities just like you guys. Well, we complain just like you do. So we know, where you guys are coming from. I live on the acreage. I mean, they don't want to approve the extension to go through, so everybody cuts through the acreage to get, instead of going through State Road 7. So I know, I get the speeders.
Exactly.
It's a pain in the rear end to get PVSO over there. Unfortunately, I can't, do it in my own neighborhood. It's a violation of policy. But it is nice when they do come around, when they finally get around to help us out.
I had to do the same thing in my neighborhood. I have speeders because I have a cross cut through my street. It's a cut through to one of the major intersections up at Port St. Lucie. Myself and 30 other people on my street signed a petition to the city to get speed bumps. Got declined. So when you guys preach about speeders, believe me, I am on your side 100%. Because when I'm out walking my daughter in her stroller, because I do not have sidewalks on my street, and somebody flies past me at 50 plus in a 25, it irks me just as much. So please, when we say that we feel for you guys, we truly do, which is why we're trying to allocate our resources for you as much as we can.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Of course.
And we have a big initiative within PVSO. It's a lot of people suffer from homelessness. So you guys got a big open fields in front of the lake. So if you see people camping and stuff like that, give us a call. We'll go out there, get them some resources, get them off the streets. It's been really cold. Get them off the streets, obviously, get them out of the neighborhood, and we'll get them some services. If all they need is some clothes, we'll get them some clothes. But if you guys see that, give us a call for that as well. I told Mary to be a thorn in our side. The first meeting that I met with her, I was being serious.
I feel like I'm the only one calling.
Yeah, but she's calling for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she does need help. I've met with her before, and I've attended this meeting in the past, and she has, encouraged people to call us, and I get it. Not everybody wants a deputy showing up to their house, but that's okay. You can speak with a deputy over the phone if you don't want a police car in front of your house. I get it. Nosy neighbors, they see a police car up front, they're like,
Ethel's at it again.
but that's fine. It's okay. We don't even have to meet with you physically in person. We could take it over the phone if that's what makes you more comfortable. And please spread that to your neighbors as well and let them know that, we don't have to physically be there. We can talk to you over the phone if you prefer. So.
Well, I think that the speeding, you're right on about that.
Yeah.
That would be 99% of our problem.
Yeah. Because other than
Not
that,
that there aren't other problems.
Right, the property crimes that I pulled up in the last 3 months, you guys are looking great. There's always that exception. It is a very large area, so of course there will be some sporadic crime here and there. Not every crime is preventable, but we can take steps to, you know, decrease that.
Please, 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 before you go to bed, take 5 minutes, go outside, make sure your car doors are locked.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah, as a 38-year resident of Lake Osborne over here, what I've noticed in past years over there, there's always a increase in like break-ins just prior to Easter. It seems like when snowbirds or homeless people are trying to head to the north, and our proximity to 95 is such that it's an easy hit.
exactly. That's a perfect example. All of our neighborhoods close to 95 and Turnpike are often targeted more often than other communities that are more tucked away, because it is an easy getaway for these suspects. For instance, our senior communities, Lucerne Lakes, Via Point Siena, they all fall within District 1 as well. Those are off of Lake Worth Road. Those get targeted quite often for unlocked vehicles, because these people, the people that are out here committing crimes, they understand people mess up sometimes and forget to lock their car before bed. We've all done it at least once in our lives.
We have a very dark neighborhood.
Exactly, exactly. And unlocked doors is a prime opportunity for a suspect. The one day you forget to do it, it's probably gonna be the day it gets burglarized, unfortunately.
I've been doing this 20 years, and I can tell you when it's gonna happen. It's usually when school lets out,
Yep.
summertimes, school breaks, you know, some of these
Holidays.
kids. Yeah, and unfortunately, Palm Beach County doesn't really offer a lot of activities for these kids to stay busy. So they just do the next best thing in their mind, is just walk around neighborhoods
Checking the
in
windows.
groups and just checking doors. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of these guns get on the streets.
So, something else that I just noticed here within the last week to 10 days, the I-95 overpass at 12th Avenue has been tagged. That's usually a gang type of thing that they're, you know, claiming territory on that from that I-95 overpass,
What
usually
type
a
of
problematic
graffiti we're talking
area.
about? I was a gang detective for 8 years, so what type of graffiti are you talking about?
Say again?
Well, I was a gang detective for 8 years in violent crimes. So what type was it a tag or is it a graffiti?
Oh,
Like
look like a tag to me.
What is it, what does it look like? I'll take a
It's
drive over there
straight up and
tomorrow.
down, arrow down, and I want to say there was a set of numbers, 688.
Pitchfork, something like that?
Yeah,
I'll take a
something
look
on
at it.
that, and then there's
Yeah.
typically sneakers across the power lines over there, so that might be something you want to draw to their attention. as
Yeah,
well.
I can't confirm or deny that I would have done that when I was 12 or 13, back in Massachusetts. So,
I'm surprised people still do that.
yeah.
Street art.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Don't forget, next month, street festival.
Yeah.
Street painting.
Yeah.
Rainbow Beach.
Any other comments, questions, or suggestions while they're here?
And if you guys happen to think of anything after we leave, please redirect your questions to her, and she'll reach out to me, and I'll get those questions answered for you. I know sometimes after we leave, you're like, shoot, I wish. What if,
What-
question?
Just one last clarification.
Of course.
So, you're District 1,
Yes, sir.
which starts at High Ridge
We're
Road and
both
goes
district.
east, right?
Both of us are District 1.
But I mean, the one district is High Ridge Road East,
West.
including the city of Lake Worth.
City
Oh,
of
okay,
Lake.
so High Ridge Road West is one of the districts.
Yes.
The good news is, for you, you don't have to really worry about that, because we're all PDSO.
Yes.
Okay,
So if you call us, it's all gonna come to us. So it's just for our, I guess,
Yeah, you call us, we're dispatching someone,
Exactly.
whether it be a District 1 deputy,
right.
which is unincorporated Palm Beach County, or a deputy that works for the city of Lakewood. A deputy is coming.
It does seem that each district has like its own government, you know, or its own building, and,
Yes.
and how that all works out and whatever resources are attributed. So District 14, very much connected with us, is much smaller.
Yes.
And they do seem to be doing a little more community stuff, like the coffee in the morning, talk to the deputy or whatnot. So, but maybe because they're smaller, it allows for that. But it makes me think that, you'll hear later, we have a set date for our, spring community gathering moment, and, the sheriff's office hopefully will also be present for that. So if you would like to have a conversation, or, you know, they should be present in some shape or form.
So I'm going to reach out to our mounted unit, which is the horses, because I always like to invite them to community events, because especially for the kids, they love to see the horses. Even adults love to see the horses. They're magnets.
You're still planning on doing it in that peninsula?
Big Bill and
I have the date and the time, so I'm gonna reach out to mounted.
No, I mean, you can, maybe set up like a spot up on Lake Osborne where the parking spots are.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna be able to, no vehicles will be.
Yeah.
Mounted
So,
unit, different story.
our mounted unit, I'm gonna reach out to them, and then also our therapy dogs. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that unit at the sheriff's office. It's a great thing that the sheriff has come up with. So our therapy dogs, whenever there's a crisis call where there was a death or something traumatic happened, our therapy dogs, they respond to the scene and they offer services to the victims or to somebody who witnessed something horrific. And they just bring comfort to people who really need them. And they're just friendly dogs. The deputies come in and they just love people. They're rescue dogs, and it's a great program that we have. And they also attend some of our community events. And then I will also reach out to SWAT. I don't know if they'll be able to come because they are pretty busy these days, but they like to bring their trucks and show off their whole get-up. So again,
Also good to go for the kids in the community.
exactly. The kids love seeing that type of stuff.
We do have we have a difficult time trying to get our families here because they seem to be bringing their kids to sports things and, have multiple jobs or whatnot. So we're
Yeah.
hoping that that community event might.
And once I get confirmation, I'll let you know for sure whether or not they'll be able to come.
And so people who are not here, I've gotten calls, I've gotten emails, and it's been seen, and it's also been told to me that how appreciative it is that, this activity has occurred. It's been seen and people are like, yay.
Good, we love to hear that. We love to hear
Yeah, we have a lot more paid members than show up at these meetings.
But honestly, you guys have a great turnout. I go to meetings every single month. I do about 7 to 8 meetings a month, and nightly meetings, and this is a good turnout. Sometimes I'll show up to a meeting, the only people that are there are the HOA members and no residents.
Yeah.
And those are typically our neighborhoods where people just don't care, and unfortunately the crime's a little higher, so, but this is great to see. I love seeing the interaction between you guys, and keep it up. Like he said, see something, say something, and don't be afraid to reach out to us if you need anything.
That's definitely, I've heard in the past people telling me that, I'm not gonna call the police because I just see somebody doing something that appears minor, but we really are the experts of our community.
Exactly.
We see what seems to be out of place, or a person that is really not from this neighborhood. And it doesn't really cost much except for the phone call and the time to say, hey, I don't know what this is, but it's not normal, and let them then go handle and check it out. And you never know what you might actually prevent or unravel from there.
If I could just add one thing to that, when you guys do call in, just try to take that extra second just to kind of get a good landscape of what you're looking at. Get a good description of the individual that you want us to call. Don't just say, just some kid walking down the road. It's really not gonna help it. And I know you guys are laughing, but we get them all the time. And you show up and you're like, all right, I'm here, what am I looking for? The caller wants to remain anonymous, and that's it. So we can't really follow up. And like she said earlier, we can call you on the phone. Again, like, hey, if the deputy needs to call me, I can call me. Which is fine, but if we're gonna work hand in hand to better your community, work with us, instead of just giving us the bare bones minimum.
And also don't confront these individuals.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
Please don't. People
Never.
these days, you never know what someone's capable of. Male or female, doesn't matter who it is. Do not confront these individuals. And I understand you want to keep your community safe, you want to keep your area safe, but to go out of your way to now intervene yourself and potentially injure yourself, that's the last thing we want. Let us handle it. That's why we get paid, to deal with these individuals, okay? So, like he said, provide a great description for us, if you can, safely. I understand situations, they happen quick, so as much as you can provide to us.
Look at these things.
Exactly.
Look at that.
Exactly.
Last time I did that, the guy said, I'm gonna bust your phone.
No. There you go. Listen, how much these phones cost? About $1,000, right?
Yeah.
If he breaks your phone, that's a felony.
Yep.
No, good advice. Don't confront them. I've done it a few times.
Yeah.
Look,
And I get it, the heat of the moment,
Yeah, look, I'm gonna tell you to use your better judgment too.
Yeah.
If you see worst case scenario, some scumbag, pouncing on a child. I mean, if that was me, I mean, somebody better hold me back, I'm getting in there, so
Yeah.
you use your better judgment,
Yeah.
don't just,
Yeah.
I'll be just a great witness from.
The guy's tuning up his motorcycle in front of my house, it kinda had to keep my mouth shut, so.
Yeah. I was talking more of like the suspicious people.
Yeah,
you know,
of
with
course.
with a backpack, running up to someone, hey, why are you in this neighborhood? You never know what they have on. But obviously, like you said, something serious, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I mean, 11 o'clock at night one time, there was a guy screaming by himself. Obviously, he was on the path of the lake and just screaming. I don't know why. Curse words came out, and I'm like, something's not right with the guy, or maybe he's, out of his mind. He could injure someone, I don't know, so I called. And then to boot, I have my camera on the ring, so I said, if you need anything, I have, that additionally. I don't know what happened after that, but we see things that are out of place, not normal. It's just best to call. We had a group of kids that were on, have you seen the kids? There's like
Yes.
4 or 5 of them
On the bikes.
on the bikes. They're doing wheelies.
Yeah.
They're right in the middle of Lake Osborne Drive, High Ridge.
We just saw them yesterday.
Are also doing the same thing? Oh, I haven't seen them in a little bit.
4 of them.
Yeah.
No helmets.
And we've run into the issue with jurisdiction because they're often also on the side of Costco, and Costco's Lantana. So,
But that's the worst, because they're not even paying attention, and they're just crossing right in front of
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And then you're like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then it's your problem when you hit them, and the
The
parents are knocking on your door.
Defensive driving 101.
Yeah.
You have to be a defensive driver nowadays.
Yeah,
in
it's
fact,
crazy.
I really think that because they've been aggressive, they're actually purposely driven.
Yeah,
towards
exactly.
us. Everybody's honking their horns all over the place. I really think that the parent should be located and possibly the additional step taken, but somebody's not watching their supervisor or taking any action, and they will get hurt, so.
They're gonna one of them's gonna get hurt for sure.
And they're screaming at cars too.
Yeah.
Like, they're not just riding their bike pulling wheelies, coming
Yeah.
in the wrong direction. They're screaming at cars,
Like they're tempting to see, like, you might, let's
Yeah.
say,
No, they're
hit me.
That sounds like
they're
a
purposely swerving into cars.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're not just like Osborne kids.
Oh, no, I know.
Roll Palm,
I'm sure.
Breckenridge,
I'm sure.
Wellington.
They had one of those kids get hit and killed not too long ago.
Yes.
I don't remember exactly where it was, but same thing, group of kids riding, and one of them got hit and killed.
And then it's like your fault because their kid got hit and killed, but your kid is literally going in front of this car. Like,
There's no responsibility.
Yeah.
The problem is that you can't fix stupid. There was the kids that you're talking about have already been hit one time at the corner of Michigan and High Ridge. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's already happened.
Just about 4 years ago, a truck hit a kid on a bicycle.
You guys do cover the pocket east of High Ridge, correct? North of Costco?
If it's from High Ridge to Lake Osborne, yeah, we believe we do. I think the Costco might be.
Costco's Lantana.
Costco's Lantana,
They've got
sure, but I think he's
school,
talking about right
And
above.
then, I thought that strip right on the east side of High Ridge.
I can tell you right now, if it's not Lantana, it's PVSO, whether it be us or Lakewood Beach.
Right.
But it's definitely.
That, oh,
I
yeah.
think only Costco's Lantana, the rest is people.
Correct.
So
Right,
which
they annexed,
district might be
For now.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, the phone number you called, 688-3200, the non-emergency number,
Same.
it's the same one. It doesn't matter where in the county it is. It's our number. So they just direct it to a dispatcher that's in front of a computer that's handling that area, that's all.
And the good news about the District 14 lieutenant, he was actually just our lieutenant in District 1, and he transferred over there, so he's very well aware of the area, and he's, captain, I'm sorry. I forgot he got promoted to captain.
Captain.
Pardon. The captain got promoted, and now he's in charge of District 14, and he actually came from District 1.
Yep.
So he's very familiar with the area, he's very well aware of these situations going on in Lake Osborne, so that's also a good note. And he's great, I reach out to him, and he'll get it taken care of if there's any issues.
You guys live in a great neighborhood.
Yes.
Okay, when I first came home, man, I'd love to have that view. Or I'd love to be in it's so quiet and so trained. So I understand, you know, your concerns. I mean, how do you guys deal with planes? Just the noise.
That's another slide. Later.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, is that a car? No, it's a plane.
Yeah. But we do enjoy the view, we do enjoy this whole dynamic in the environment that we have.
And you want to preserve your beautiful neighborhood.
Of course, you know, there's nothing better than watching wildlife crossing the road and not being, you know, subject to being pancakes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be insensitive, but.
Or chopped up
pretty much-
somehow next to the water fountain, which also happens at night.
Yeah. So, law enforcement has always evolved, always, and then we're gonna continue to evolve. Homeless intervention, crisis intervention, these are topics that, you know, they're putting out training and we're all being mandated as deputies to go through these trainings. So, traffic enforcement, all this stuff that wasn't around back in, you know, the early 1900s, so we're always evolving. So, you know, the therapy dogs, I'm gonna tell you right now, last week, okay, I'm not new to law enforcement, but I am new to community policing. So, I love the community policing approach, because obviously I get to come here and talk to you fine people, but also the therapy dogs. We went to a school for autistic children, and just their faces lighting up as they're petting this dog. I'm like, come on, to me, that's, I don't care about putting people in jail. That's what law enforcement's about for me. You know, just put smiles on people's faces. You know, I can see somebody smiling, so we're doing a good job.
We're trying to bridge that gap between every time that, you know, somebody has an interaction with a police officer, it's not for something negative. Because let's be honest, when people call us, it's for something that's bad that's happened to them. But we also want to, you know, create those good experiences with law enforcement, so it's not just always bad, because why else are you calling us unless it's for something bad? You're not calling us to hang out, so.
Don't forget, it's to protect and serve.
Exactly.
We're here to serve.
We do want to hang out at our picnic.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. I hope
Yeah,
that works
we'll bring
out.
some people over for you, so.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you so very
tonight.
much.
Thank you. If you guys have any questions that pop to mind afterwards, please direct them to Mary and then she'll reach out to me. And I will answer those questions that I took down too.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great
Take
night.
care. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thanks. All right, well, it's not gonna be as long since Deborah is not here this time. This will be for a later slide. On the note of the airport, a little update. I hope that you have seen my email, or that you have seen my post on Facebook on our community page. We have a very important meeting Wednesday night, day after tomorrow. It is at 5:30, it's gonna be at the college, at the same place where previous meetings have been. We have not necessarily had an abundance of attendance to the previous meetings. But this is the finalization, it is the last public meeting that they will do when it comes to the safety assessment. Safety assessment, if you weren't, you know, involved at the time or kind of missed a chapter of the airport, is something that we pushed for, us as the community, in front of the commissioners. We insisted that there is a safety concern, and since we lost the circuit appeal, we asked that
On the jet.
on the jet ban, which is no longer, we asked that the safety assessment occur. Now, the safety assessment is done by a company called Reconda. Their report is about 350 pages long, but you could really, in just a little half hour, kind of scan through the report, which if you want to see where it's located, it is, let me slide this over here. It is on pbia.org. If you go to the Palm Beach County Park Airport, you will arrive at this page, and when you scroll down, right here it says LNA Safety Assessment Final Draft Report, and then it will open the assessment here. And yes, it's 355 pages. Lots of it are the previous slides from previous meetings. There is a letter and a couple comments from people, which I truly believe are missing others, which is part of the comments that will probably be had on Wednesday. There are also historical attachments and plans that were submitted, which to me are highly concerning. If they're part of this report, does that mean they haven't gone away? Because one of them is a layout plan from 2008 that was approved by the FAA in 2010 that had a lengthening of a runway, not the noise abatement, but the other one in the triangle. Lengthening of that, additional hangars on the Atlantis side, I think another FBO office, terminal, lots of stuff, all that speaking to expansion and somewhere where the airport would be headed. That would be devastating for us. So I say all this because if you can encourage your neighbors, your friends, your family, whomever, bring the bodies to this meeting, the county needs to know that we are concerned, that we aren't absent or snoozing on this, and if we need that support. Atlantis is driving this. They have the means, the resources, but we need to also show the support because this is our battle as well. So we want to make sure that all the concerns that we've been bringing up for a while are captured. This may not be a meeting for conversation. I think really the intent is, here's our assessment, we're gonna go over the things, probably recap the basics of things that we've heard many, many times before, and here's the end result. And maybe you have 2 minutes for a comment. And if we're not able to ensure that the concerns and the things that we have seen historically time and time again, such as the congestion that's happening in the report, I did not really see it in the assessment, so that's part of the concern. How can you truly have assessed safety if you're not saying, when you have 6 aircraft in the pattern and a jet coming in, and you're planning to do more with the airport, essentially the recommendation is put a tower and that'll solve the problem. Well, what happens in the meantime until the tower arrives? And then how, if a tower is only going to operate business hours, will that really make a dent? And to boot, the tower is going to be operated and controlled by the FAA, which has been the barrier to why we have not obtained anything that we have asked for to begin with. So we're just giving away public land to another administration for which they're pro-aviation and not us, the community. So I'm just putting it out there that we really need community participation, even if it's just to show the presence. Certainly comments are encouraged, and we plan to ask for additional time or comment if it's necessary, depending, we'll see how this meeting goes. So Wednesday, 5:30 to 7:30, it's at the college. It's gonna be at the Watton Barker Conference Center. So they have a map, you can find it, but if you're coming from Lake Worth Road, you kind of drive in and it's the first building that you see. There's a big parking lot here. Or if you're coming from Congress, before you actually, the last turn you can make into the property of the college, you'll go around the building and then eventually you reach the parking lot. Yeah.
I'm just curious, does JFK Hospital have a stake in this airport going?
Have not seen any participation from them so far.
Anybody ever reach out to them? I'm just curious.
I would only be assuming that possibly Atlantis has, and for the Part 150 study, there were other community members that were reached out to. I know that the mayor of Atlantis, for this meeting, has blasted an email for like any and all mayors and people around. And so we hope that there wasn't much notice, as in this hasn't been planned for the last 2 months. It just kind of came up in the last 2 weeks, maybe. So, yeah.
My takeaway from what you just said over there is not gonna be a comment session on Wednesday?
It will allow for comment, is my understanding.
You have to sign
I'm
up.
already anticipating that it will be a short moment, a minute or two. And maybe you'll have to fill out the comment card to even be you know, if you didn't, too late. So that's what I'm anticipating. This
The
is a
other takeaway is
debriefing.
that it sounds like they're gonna cram a tower, is that what?
The
From what I,
recommendation.
yep, from my review, ultimately, the recommendation is for a tower. Which, what does that tell me about your observations of safety? We do have, in the report, you will see, and I'm sure they'll present on this, we have encroachment on Lake Osborne Drive. Encroachment on Lake Osborne, which means that the space that they have to safely land is reduced. We're obstructing that, and so do they on the other side for the east-west runway. The most busiest, the largest, the most maintained. What are they gonna do about that? They should be reducing, not, lengthening any runways to keep us safe. Yes.
Do we have any idea who owns that land across from JFK, kind of north of the airport and south of the entrance to the John Prince Park? There's a-
Yeah, it's part of the whole land. And that's also, part of what I'm observing in that layout plan from 2008, is that there are portions of all of this land that the airport has right now. You've seen the fenced-in area on the corner of Lantana and Congress. There's a fenced area. That's projected to be for commercial use. That's public land. Is there not rules for that to be then given for
I was
commercial
under the
purposes?
impression that was already approved for a gas station. That made no sense to have a gas station that close to the airport to crash into.
There's at least 3 or 4 portions in that layout
Right.
plan that are designated for something like that in the future. And that area that you're saying with the entrance, that's where it seems there would be like a new FBO office terminal and many more hangars coming in through there.
Maybe a
These-
burrowing owl nest would stop it. And stop the other things.
And some of those gopher tortoises or something, right?
I have a weird question because I watched that Zoom meeting last fall or whatever, where that guy talked about the safety thing where you could
Yeah,
Zoom
that
it.
was
Anyway, he was like an independent person. He worked for like, it was my
Recondo?
impression he worked for what?
Recondo, probably.
Right, so
consulting
why,
company.
who owns the airport? Is it Palm Beach County?
Yes.
They were actually talking about stakeholders.
Well, they own
So
the
people,
airport.
so it's really a business that we're fighting, it's not the county, right, correct?
I think that's a good, image of what the issue is.
Okay,
And-
I mean, it
and-
just sounds like Lantana Park and Palm Beach County, it's not really that, it's a business.
All
Well,
of
it's
the
being
operating
managed by-
schools.
It's being managed by Stellar Aviation,
Right.
is managed. The airport itself was control over the airport was taken over by the FAA in a deal with Palm Beach County.
Okay.
Palm Beach County tried to go back on the deal, is my understanding, with the FAA, and that's when the stop was put in. The FAA said, no, that's not gonna happen because they had gotten money from the federal government.
So in order to make improvements or
Right.
or maintenance, at some point, there was money taken from the FAA
Right,
to do the work in the airport.
right.
But that, there were little,
There was agreements.
small lines that were saying, but you do that, and therefore, we will have control, therefore, you cannot say, et cetera,
Right.
as far as the county. So it's managed by Department of Airports, which is the county. But Stellar Aviation is the business that oversees the property. And within the property, you have multiple small businesses. There's several schools for helicopters
Right.
and fixed
No,
wing.
I'm not right.
And then you have all other parties who lately are taking passengers. There's Groupons for you to go around and take care of the view. I mean, there are other businesses. I'm not sure that they're actually all legal because we're not supposed to have commercial, but there are some Beach King Airwings that are taking passengers and flying in. But that's kind of like how yes, it is all connected to business and it is all connected to the contract with the FAA, and that has been a huge barrier for the county to really have a
So
strong
is the
foot.
county gonna be at this meeting, or is this just the company that represents the?
Department of Airports will be there.
Okay.
Probably Laura Beebe will be.
Yeah, she'll be.
Laura Beebe will be there. I spoke today, Mary, and talked about, I'm from Murray Hills, Hank from Murray Hills, so I have to
Who's
run.
been on the
but-
committees.
Yes, I have to run, but I'm also now on the new CCAN committee for Palm Beach Airport. But she will be there, and there will be, they say they are going to allow more than that 2-minute, so we have some good questions.
Oh.
We should be ready for them, okay? One of the problems that they're going to talk about is the fact that a lot of the stuff that we worked on for 3 years is going to change a bit because of Mar-a-Lago and the new routes that can't, helicopters especially, that can't train over the water anymore. So that's one of the things they're going to bring up tomorrow. That and the flight patterns from PBI and also from Lantana and from the northern airports now.
They're gonna talk about that at this meeting?
Well, they're going to talk about why some of the things that we talked about in the Part 150 study may have to change a bit because of the different flight patterns that we may have to follow now for the next 4 years.
You have knowledge of whether that's gonna be good for us or bad for us?
Well, when he's here, a lot of the flight schools already are talking about the way they're going to lose a lot of money and then they can't operate. And there was a big article in the paper today, if you read it, about.
But I saw the rules that they have right now, as far as for us here at this airport. They started off surprisingly not limiting the airspace here. So what ended up happening is when aircraft was supposed to fly out to the north because the winds and whatnot, everyone was using the east-west runway to avoid that protected airspace with Mar-a-Lago and whatnot.
Correct.
But the protected airspace does include Lake Osborne Estates. So while the runway doesn't, when they were flying in or out, it did. So I had quickly drafted a whole big email, but then maybe there's a change to be continued on that. And regardless, just for 4 years, they need to have a guideline that is going to, because we know that won't be edited in 4 years when it's
Anyway, I
no
have to
longer.
run, but thank you. I'll see you Wednesday, okay?
But yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Okay.
So, on other updates, we've been asking for a long time for a new, noise monitoring system. We have EnviroSuite that tracks all the activity with the planes. So there was a bid out there. Some things have not yet come into place. So basically, they let us know that a bond had not yet been submitted by the vendor, so it's not, the new system has not yet been approved. When it is, however, there would be a community meeting held to discuss the capabilities of the new system, so they'll present it to us. They're hoping for early this year sometime. So that would be another very important meeting so that we can get our eyes on what tool we're going to have. They're also saying that he was just mentioning he's part of the Citizens Committee for the Palm Beach International, but really they're looking to create one for our airport here. So there would actually be a designated committee for this airport. What else about that? Oh, the system would therefore be serving all airports that the county covers. So we have to think about, it's not just for us, the system is for everybody. But our big push for us consistently here is that it be completely public. We have the same information, whether you're a pilot, you're a business, or you're a person living at the edge of the runway, that we have access to the same system and we not depend on whatever representative at the Department of Airports. So far, it's presenting that they would be sharing with us the proposed content for a public-facing dashboard. I would be in strong opposition to that. So another thing is, with the Part 150 study, there's a noise compatibility program, and they would be scheduling public meetings sometime in March and April, nothing set in stone yet, we'll update when that comes around, to discuss the changes that might be made in responses to public workshops that we've had as part of the Part 150 study. All very important, because it all has to do with noise and activity and whatnot, so we gotta be on top of it. Okay, that was a nice start. Anything on the airport? The only thing, if you retain anything, is go to the meeting on Wednesday, and if you can't go, send somebody. That's what we need.
Will
All
it
right.
be on Zoom for people?
Oh, there is, I don't have the information here, but I think I shared it in the email. So, give me your email before you leave if you want any of the specifics on that. It is gonna be shown on WebEx, I think. But strongly recommend physical presence in some shape or form. But yes, at least you can be part of the WebEx and listen in. They will take comment on that too. Okay, so board members of 2025, we have some of ours missing. Tara had some illnesses and things like that. This is just to say, if anybody is interested in being part of the board, call me, let me know. If so, we would be swearing that person in at the next meeting when we're all here, but we don't think that we have to swear the same board in anyways. If you want to be a committee lead, I'm definitely looking for that. That is a great support to the board as well, with whatever topic of your choice. Treasurer's report, real quick. Since, well, can you see it?
Can everybody see it? Otherwise I have to
No.
stand up and read.
I'm not that
No.
So I think this is, numbers since our last meeting, right?
Yes,
Since our last
yeah.
meeting.
Well, we had a different one that I made for the board meeting. This is more updated as of today, because I made more deposits.
Okay.
As of 11/18/24, we were at $3,702.87. November, we had $1,000 deposit, and then we also had money going out to Banyan Printing for, this time it was for the
Dues.
mailers, the dues mailers. And then we had December deposits of $2,900, and that brought the balance up to $6,959.24. Now in January, we had $150, $275, and $350 more added. So our current balance is $7,734.24. And then we have a Capital One savings of $5,351.44.
So Janice also sent this, which is the dues paid per street. Last year it actually shown, like sort of in a competitive way, who was contributing more than not. This time we're showing same streets between 2024 and 2025. And I highlighted the only two streets that are so far ahead from last year. All the others are behind. In yellow, behind, no colors, zero. So right now, while the $7,000 sounds great, it's actually not. We're at half the budget that we were last year. Now, what we did last year, however, was we sent a reminder for the dues notice. It is the new year, so maybe, the idea of like, I gotta pay my dues for 2025 might help for that. We found that it was beneficial last year to send out the reminder. If you guys have any input on that, do share. But that's just for visuals where we're standing. One time I showed, I can't remember the exact number, but for basic operating of the association, we need somewhere around $4,000 to $5,000, just for basics, communications, keeping the structure, filing, which are payments that are going to be coming up in the first couple months here. So that's where we stand. Comments or questions on that?
And occasionally having to hire some expertise because we can't do it ourselves.
Yeah, like this year, I was hoping that we could do some investments in our cleanup of the rocks and signs. Like they need a good, real cleaning so the rocks can come back to their breakaway. And if we can do a little extra with, you know, beautifying, that would be great. Okay, so then our community spring party, calling it marching into fun. We have a date, March 9th at 1 p.m., which I believe is a Sunday. We're planning to have it at the McMillan Island, showing on the picture there. Hopefully everybody knows where McMillan Island, but it's that little piece, sort of on the curve, close to where the speeding thing was after the two humps. So that's where we're planning to have it. Taylor, did you want to share?
We're still waiting for the park people to get back to hear from them if that's for sure gonna happen. We know that we want that date and that time, but we have to wait to hear back from the park people if it's actually available for that date. So once we get that, we can follow up.
Yeah. And we're definitely welcoming any volunteers that can kind of make this even more of a special event or just assist with, you know, on the day of, whatever that may be. So far, Palm Beach Sheriff's Office says they will be present. I think we're also reaching out to the fire department to see if they would come. There might be some resources or funding available for sort of the blow up things for the kids too. TJ is thinking about doing some cooking, so like hot dogs and burgers or things like that. So we're trying to put it together. So if anybody knows somebody who wants to join in on the organization, we'd love it. Spread the word though, March 9th. It's a Sunday at 1 p.m. and we're crossing our fingers for some wonderful weather. Any other business? I just wanted to kind of take a second to, if you had something in mind that you were coming here to mention, this would be it. Yes.
Yeah, I noticed on Lake Osborne Drive, I was heading towards Lake Worth Road, and they have a crossing guard, a crossing path across the lake there that actually has a solar collector on it that, you know, if you're trying to cross in the path, you hit the button and it's supposed to slow traffic down. Now, I don't know if we're still online for sidewalks from the adjoining streets to Lake Osborne Drive, but that would be something that we should put in the mix.
To have the little
Cross.
No, it's just a flashing light over there. It's kind of like by where Dr. Lynch's animal clinic is between there and
Yeah, it's like
there's
a
across the
crosswalk.
street between,
You press the button and it
yeah.
goes, so you can cross.
They got an actual crosswalk from that
From
office.
one side of Lake
over to
Osborne
the park.
Drive to the
It's
other,
not.
yeah, it was just recently put in here within the last,
I'm gonna have to
I would
drive
say-
over.
And lines.
It's just past the vet office.
So that's Lake Worth Beach area, I
well,
think.
Yeah, Lake
they
Worth.
were able to get it somehow, so I'm sure that they didn't come out of pocket for that.
Yeah, they did the whole sidewalk project there, but
Yeah, I'll mention, how the sheriff's office, all of that started, it's not my first call or email. Nowhere at all. This has been years of pleading, begging, and I had a very long email with regards to the semi-trucks. And everybody was on it. New Captain Card, I can't remember, but Sarah Malega from Lake Worth Beach, who's not our commissioner, but she is the connected commissioner. Greg Weiss, who's our commissioner, who's now running for West Palm Beach mayor. Everybody was on it. And there's a long trail with any videos that was sent to me, pictures, names of semi-trucks. I presented them at our meetings here as well. And really not much happened. But in this new year, I started a new email, fresh, Happy New Year 2025. Is this the year that we can get some movement going? And Joe reached out to me, the deputy Carew. And he has been really awesome. So he's definitely sort of been the underlying. But I have to say, I do wonder if it isn't also because Sarah Malega reached out to her district and put a word. And somewhere in my reaching out to the executives of District 1, saying we haven't heard anything, I don't know if all that somehow is connected, but that's how all that happened. Now, after this, I have to say the next step here that I'm going to spend more time again on, not the first time, is to speak with our county engineers for road to get some traffic calming measures, because it has to go hand in hand to really address this. I've put out many ideas and pictures. I've wanted a circle in those intersections, High Ridge, Lake Osborne Drive, 12th Avenue, circles, so people kind of have to go around. It doesn't have to be a roundabout because we don't have enough space, I'm told. Or, you know, reducing the lanes, anything. Even plants sometimes make a difference and would be nice for us in this community with the park. So that's kind of where, you know, next steps are with that. Bridge, I've not seen any updated design plans, and frankly are a little worrisome to me, because the message I'm getting right now is that we're not involved until it's said and done, and construction's here and we'll have a public meeting. And I'm trying to, I'm gonna reach out directly to Greg Weiss, our commissioner, to say we would like something sooner, maybe can you help us out, because that's what we've been asking for. We've been asking to just be part of the process. We don't want to assume that everything is said and done. We want to be in the conversation. Now, did I answer your question, Barbara? I feel like I went.
They had told us we were gonna get a speed bump.
They had told us that we
They
were
did.
eligible for, we need a new study, I suppose, is what maybe the response will be. And if so, it needs to be now, when everybody's here, not when snowbirds are gone. School is active and the normal routine of life is present is when we would need it. But yes, at the last study that they had agreed to do, which wasn't in the ideal time, there was one speed hump. We did not see that. So what's going on with it?
Yeah.
Any other thoughts or ideas? Okay. So the results of the decorating contest. Did you all see the reel that kind of had a little bit of everybody's houses? I thought some people really did a nice job, and it was hard for me to pick a winner, honestly, if you didn't see it.
Maybe bigger?
What?
Yeah, she has to click on it.
Yeah. And I can't make it work.
Scroll over it, maybe it'll give you the option to make it full screen.
Full screen.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Wow. This goes over to the full. But there was some really creative things, nicely done, you know, so it was nice to see. And the funny thing is, I don't think the winners are here tonight.
I don't think any of them are.
Or nobody knows who the winners are.
And there are people that came to my door to pay their dues so they could be in on the, and I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they're not here tonight, so.
Well, nobody knows who the winners are, so how do you know if they're here?
We have the address.
Kind of, you know, but yeah, we have the address, but I know the faces, I don't see them here. But it was really nice, and I hope we can even like up the ante this coming years, the holiday season again, and do this.
There were some nice ones in there.
I think it was nice. Some people might have gotten more motivated just because we had the contest. So.
Like our house.
There was something in our.
Yeah, we have just there were some real pretty.
Ah, there we go. So, the results, we have in third place,
Wow.
there was a lot of debating on this one, for third place, because there was just many options. And so, in the end, I think we looked at also who are already paid members and verified all of that, because only members are winning the prizes. And we chose 1811 High Ridge Road. I didn't take a great picture, so it's not really, but they had like a whole thing on the roof and stuff on the other side. You can see the effort that was put into it. Then in second place, we have the house right across from Costco. You must have seen it.
Yeah.
Going to Costco, they were lit up. There wasn't a spot missing, it seemed. They definitely put a lot of effort into it. So they got our second place, and you know, it's not the most conducive, you don't see anything on the road, but if you actually were to go into their house, they had a whole arch with a big like, gift and everything, really cool. And they came to my door too. We're in! So I don't know why they're not here, but great job. And then the first place, I hope you went by Shirley Court. There was a few houses there that, it was like they had their own street competition going. I think I actually put the video in here. This was the first place winner off of Shirley Court. You may not be able to see, but there is a Grinch with a tree on the and there's like all sorts of details between the arches and the little guys. And if you were there in person, there was something on every spot. It was very, I think they had music too, so you could just be walking there and you were right into the Christmas vibe. So first place is on Shirley Court, and 2 or 3 houses right next to them were kind of all of the same vibe. So tough competition, but really awesome. Hopefully, if you're watching this video, come to the next meeting so you can get your prizes, or they're going back into the pool for the next holiday season. And after that, I think that is all we have for this evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'll stick around for a few more minutes if you have anything else you want to chat, or do you have questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you,
I can, but. What? Well, also, about that dog. Jimmy, had it.
I know. That was so nice. You know, I used to get right at that over place. I have got to get that out of my head. People that when they go to sleep, they can't get songs.
It was what, 4 years ago.
You got my phone number.
Yeah.
If you don't hear from me Wednesday about